I have started the recording. Welcome to session number 3. So we're going to begin with some cleanup from session number 2, which would be Jackie is back with us. Kristen is missing. So let's go to Jackie. And during the previous session, obviously you weren't available to go on an adventure, but your characters are able to have done chores. So do you know who you would like them to have done chores with, or would you like them to have just played?
What were the triplets doing? Because Trumpy's activities would be determined by that.
So the triplets intentionally did not go adventuring because you weren't there. So the players chose to keep them just busy doing chores. Let me get the list up here. So Francis did chores with the herbalist. And Wampy did chores with the carpenter. So Wampy went and harassed the carpenter.
Quite literally, Wampy threw stones at the carpenter until the carpenter kicked him out.
Which definitely endeared the carpenter. Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to say that Trumpy was with Francis doing the herbalist stuff.
Okay.
And then as far as Lyka and Bax, Lyka is more of a diplomat, so they're definitely going to try and get on the good side of the carpenter. And then I have a question regarding the mentors. Who would be seen as the most, physical of the mentors? Because Bax wants to do stuff, very physically involved, like hitting stuff or picking up heavy stuff or anything that's, feats of strength-ish.
Yeah, so you got some choices. So the blacksmith lady is pretty physical in that she's hitting stuff with a hammer all day, but she doesn't actually teach combat. The sheriff, while he is much more of a leadership kind of character, he does train his deputies in sword fighting as one of his daily activities.
Was Gunther a sword wielder?
Gunther was.
That's right. He had many weapons, right?
But but one of them was Lushatus, the son of the sun. That was his sword. Yeah.
I'm gonna say blacksmith for Bax because that's probably gonna be the more physical of the two.
So the smithy. Let's see, where is she? Amiri. She teaches. The skills, armor, artistry, athletics, crafting, labor, and trade. And she teaches the talents, adorn, attention to detail, fitness, money talks, reuse, and rhythm. You're probably most interested in the fitness stuff there.
Yeah, okay, so before I fully commit to that, what would be the things that the sheriff teaches?
Sheriff Gorham. Sheriff Gorham teaches the skills athletics, investigation, leadership, melee, propriety, and stealth. And he teaches the talents congenial glance, daywalker, marathon runner, rally, skim, stash, and throw down the gauntlet.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to switch my answer to the sheriff.
Okay.
Bax. Lyka has a contested roller. I have to roll.
Yes, Lyka can make a persuasion plus sympathy roll, or if you have some other plan of how to try and woo the carpenter into not hating the kids.
Yeah, and also
I do have gifted leaders, so I don't think that applies in this case. This would be like I was combining my efforts with other people, I presume.
Yeah. Also, Troy's character was with the sheriff for the Chris Assar was there at the sheriff as well.
Yeah, there were some other characters there.
They did not inside of session, right?
Yes, and they were not coordinating their efforts really.
I put that in the wrong chat, no wonder. No, is
Dot-
Uther
dot
asleep?
F. It's dot
Dot
F.
F.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Used to be dot R. Okay, that's another success. And as I said, it may look like a big number right now, but as characters start learning social skills, it'll get much, much easier to get progress on this.
Trust
Especially
me,
with
I'm playing
18
a new farming sim, and I understand it's the long game when you want to build hearts with people, okay?
Right. Okay, and all right, so that's like a Trompy working for the herbalist. Didn't have any experience points to spend, but did earn 1 pocket money. Pocket money is it's an item. I put it in your inventory at a quantity of 0 to start. You can just increase that to 1.
Awesome, thank you.
It's like money, except instead of giving you dice to roll, it just gives you pips. It's really low value, like little copper chips and things.
Yeah, it's pocket change.
Right.
And so for Bax, so Bax has 4 experience to spend.
Yes.
And then so because they're with the sheriff, how do I get to distribute those points?
All right, so the sheriff can train up to level 3 the following skills. Athletics, investigation, leadership, melee, propriety, or stealth. Once you have the necessary prerequisites, the sheriff can also train talents. Talents cost 9 experience points. Skills cost a different amount depending on what you're leveling them up to. It's 1 point for the first level, 2 points for the second level, 3 points for the third level, so on.
Gotcha. I'm probably gonna dump 3. Can I spend them all? Can I spend all my experience?
Yes, you can, but you can only spend them on things that person can train.
And so, real quick, it was athletics or athletics, right?
The sheriff teaches athletics.
I'm speaking about. So I'm looking at melee and athletics, and I just want to confirm that those.
Oh yeah, yeah, melee and athletics. So, yeah, so you could raise one of those to 2 and the other one to 1, and that would spend all 4 of your points.
Right, I've got a melee of 2 and athletics of 1.
Nice.
Now I can really beat shit up.
Hell yeah.
And or run and rescue people.
You should check out the athletics stuff. It's got some really cool stuff. The main reason that the sheriff trains athletics is because the sheriff has you running messages quite a bit. So you end up doing lots of running, and I believe the sheriff can train, is it marathon runner? Yeah, marathon runner is one of the talents that the sheriff can train in.
And Bax is mostly interested in fighting, like Gunther, but Bax is also very familiar with like how just like athletic the fighting Faithenok are, because like they're not just legendarily strong. Like I'm sure those guys were doing like calisthenics for fun, you know, just like if they were bored kind of a thing, you know, like.
Yeah. And if you look at like marathon runner, it's a perfect example of it. So long as you're unencumbered, you may move at a jogging pace as long as you like. Period.
Oh,
there's not even a cost, right? It's just you just don't have to stop running at a jogging pace. You may also spend 1 athletics to increase your speed to a sprint for up to 4 hours.
Holy shit! That's amazing. That's so good.
It's a great talent. You probably noticed that none of the people in this village can really train you very far. You're not going to be able to go all the way here. So there will be opportunities to go further afield and get better training later. But yeah, for now, this gives you a chance to get a start on the things you're interested in, and the rest of the points you can spend becoming more well-rounded, having access to the things that can be ancillarily useful for all kinds of stuff. The other thing you might want to consider at some point is training with Miss Maybell at the orphanage, because she trains the base aptitudes. And I see you already have your vigor and your agility at level 2, which is definitely the Faithanok way of beginning their path. But yeah.
Well, it depends on which Faithan, right?
It does.
Because
it does.
Lyka is interested in harving.
Right. And yeah. So it does depend. What Ms. Maybell can train, and it only costs 4 points to take an aptitude from 1 to 2. But she can train your aptitudes up. She also can train the aptitude talents. And those talents are pretty wild.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. So the vigor one she knows, let me find her sheet here. Yeah, the vigor one she knows is might. On any vigor-based test, you may pay 1 vigor before rolling the test to add your vigor in successes rather than dice to the test.
Yeah, there's, I think, a skill like that for all of the aptitudes.
There is, and Miss Maybell knows all of them and can teach all of them for all of the aptitudes. She is a generalist. And she primarily teaches through stories and lessons, which is a very Faithanok style. Whereas the sheriff teaches by telling you, go run this message to the other side of town. And that's how you learn how to run really good. And hurry back. So as someone who was working for the sheriff, you also... because there was another character also working with the sheriff. So you, in addition to that other character, also learned that there is somebody in one of the jail cells in the prison. The town does not have a very large prison, but they seem to have rigged up a special jail cell that is hanging from chains from the roof. It doesn't touch the floor. It's entirely made of iron bars, and it does have a solid iron floor. So they can't even, like, stick their feet out through the floor. There's a man in there, but that's all that you know before you were shooting. Okay. With that taken care of... Oh, and don't forget your pocket money from the sheriff, too. Next, we're on to... the evening, and in the evening everyone gets a good rest, so everyone recovers 2 tacks. And I do mean everyone, that's across the board. All characters get 2 tacks recovered. I promise I won't do any more singing, but the Cubs do try singing the song that Miss Maybell taught them on their own in their room. And yeah, and then we're ready for the next day. So the next day dawns bright and early, and most important is that before the sun has even risen, the fishermen's kids, who are not really kids, but the son and daughter of the local fishermen are at the door ready to pick up the kids that are going to go sailing that day. Sailing is considered a chore, but those who wish to go sailing can indicate so by simply telling me right now.
Sherry wants to go sailing.
Araxi also wants to go sailing.
Okay. So Ed, I see you put Sherry for the sheriff. Do you want to change that?
Yeah, I'll change that.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's going with the fisherman, is that right?
Yes. This will be available every day to do chores for the fishermen. The previous day, the fishermen didn't go sailing, so it was a little kind of boring. But today, they're actually going to go sailing. It will be a work day. They're out there to get fish. It's not just a tourist day, so they'll be doing work. But that does mean they can spend experience points learning from the fisherman and his crew. Captain Lowendow Pays a fair day's wage for fair day's labor. Is it just those two? Okay, cool.
Araxi is also going to bring her boss with her to go show it off from the prior adventure.
That reminds me. Thank you for bringing that up. I want to know which rooms had moss in them. So it was Araxi's room. That's the eagle room. Who else kept moss with them?
Badger room with Glup on the second floor.
I kept moss with me in my pocket.
Sorry, that's the dolphin room. Kristen isn't here, but I know that she stuffed her pockets and ate some too, I think.
At least, no, I think it was me that ate. I know I ate some of it.
No, I remember us having a long discussion about dwarven indigestion or whatever.
Yeah.
Did someone get a tummy ache? Because that's fucking fun. That's some kid shit. It's funny shit. It's like I ate some weird moss and now my tummy hurts.
I don't know.
I didn't
I don't
eat
know
any
if
moss.
I don't know if Anu gets tummy aches from moss.
I'm pretty sure that the dwarf doesn't. I think the dwarven...
The dwarf does not.
Yeah, the dwarven metabolism just takes care of it. All right, which I think just leaves the question of Troy's character, but do I remember right that you also stuffed your pockets full of moss?
I did not.
You did not. Okay.
I think I was the only one that
The only
didn't.
one that didn't bring moss back. All right.
No, I saw what it did. It's an awful experience for me.
Anu wouldn't if they have Gift of the Snake. But
Alrighty. Back to deciding about chores. I see some of you have already decided on chores there, so I'm just going to go through the ones who have not. So Jackie, which of your characters will be adventuring today, and which ones will be doing chores or playing?
Trumpy's is going to be contingent on what we decide. Let me talk to Vivian about that real quick. What do you want to do?
I mean, I feel like I said this last. I'll say this again. I want the first time the triplets go out to be all three triplets.
Yeah, so I'll hold off for going out and playing. So Trumpy will do chores.
Yeah, I think Whoppy will also do chores as for the same reason.
Lyka's going to go adventuring. I can only pick one of my characters to go adventuring, right?
Right. So one of your
Okay,
characters...
so Bax is also going to stay behind.
Okay.
They have to be picking who they're with for chores,
Yes.
or is this just generally chores? Okay.
Nope, because they have to leave to go start their chores. And that's what they do for the day. And so if the adventuring team goes to visit one of those places, then that's where your character will be.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Bax is gonna stick with the sheriff for now, I think.
Okay.
And then Chompy, I assume, will also stick with the herbalist. They are currently either haven't earned experience or are out of experience, so they can't do anything other than earn pocket money.
Right, but they'll get some pocket money. It's not bad. And Lyka will be the one adventuring today. All right. Ed, am I correct that Reggie will be the one adventuring today?
Probably, but it's going to depend on what the adventure is.
Okay. So there are a few different options for adventures that have been discovered through the various chores that people have been doing. Those options are fixing the broken salt maker that you found on the beach, investigating the extra witchy witch mother of the town's herbalist. Her mother's in town, and her mother just looks extra witchy. So that could be investigated. There is also investigating the mysterious man in the special jail cell as an option. There's also, and it's just the words pirate treasure, question mark. There's rumors there's pirate treasure nearby. And there have been glimpses of other children, not orphans, that just generally live in the farms and such around the place. You got to see a lot of them when you were at the tavern. Because, Grammy has just an incredible number of grandchildren. And so, you could find and meet and get to know some of the other kids that live in the area as well. So all of these are opportunities that the children have for adventure. If you guys want to pick one, and the 5 of you can gather up to go do it. What is it that the children find most enticing for today?
Who seems like they'd have the best stories? What the pirate treasure? I mean, pirate treasure is a great story, though.
Sherry's going to go if it's pirate treasure. If we go talk to the man in the prison, though, it's going to definitely be Reggie. Most of the other ones, I can get Reggie.
I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. I'm open to
Witch Mom and guy in the prison both sound like excellent story. Pirate treasure sounds dangerous, so Nest is probably going to vote against that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure exactly who can see.
If it comes down to a disagreement, we'll roll dice to see whose leadership overpowers the others.
I am also curious about the strange man. So I'm willing to do that as well.
Sounds like we've got at least 3 characters interested in that.
I think I would have my which one is it? Koffrik. Yeah, mine would be interested in the man in the cell.
Yeah, sure, the man in the cell.
Okay, so it's going to be the man in the cell, so that means you're bringing out Reggie. Is that right, Ed?
Yep.
Let's see. Tice, you're bringing Elros?
Yep.
Troy. All right, since Koffrik is the one coming out to do mischief, where are Chrysosar and Mina going?
Miller. I think it's the Miller for Mina.
Okay. And for Crystal Star?
I think he'll just be with the sheriff again. I was trying to see if anything else made sense, but I think the sheriff makes most sense.
And Vivian, you said a nest is coming out.
Yeah.
We already know Araxi is going fishing. And what is Wampy doing?
Wampy has probably been dragged to the herbalist now. Because I figured that's where the other triplets are gone. And clearly throwing stones at the carpenter was not a productive day.
True, it was not productive. It could have been productive. The dice could have rolled differently, but yeah. Alrighty. We have our team then. Nest, Koffrik, Glol. No, I'm sorry, not Glol. Elros. And Lyka and Reggie. I'm going to try and be a responsible GM and get the character sheets on my screen before I start. While I'm doing that, what would you like to tell Miss Maybell you all are doing for the day? Going out to play? Are you going to tell a lie about doing chores? Are you going to be honest and just say we're going to go check out the prison?
The prison's just in town, right?
It is. It's, in fact, next to the... So the town square, not really square, it's a crossroads. The town crossroads has the inn, the general store, the herbalist, and the prison, all very close to each other. So that, because the inn and the general store are the town's main source of visitor revenue. And when things go bad, you need the herbalist and the sheriff. That's what they're there
Right.
for. So
quick other question. What kind of things can I get at the general store for pocket money?
So the general store primarily sells traveling supplies, since this is a halfway point between Celebre, a noted center of commerce, and Half-Elven, a noted center of piracy. So while most things are going to be on the level, stuff like spare rope and prepackaged rations and basic sort of camping supplies. You never know what little things might be tucked away in a cupboard. The owner of the general store is who you train with if you want to train in crime.
Oh. General store and fence, then.
Perhaps. His son is the sheriff.
Oh, that's genius. Small town shit. Let's go.
And he's very proud of his son. So much so that he took on as his surname Gormsire.
Aw. Honestly, that's wholesome.
But he is a mischievous old man. He likes to hire kids to try to steal from his store to keep his own staff on their toes.
That's dope. I guess my thought was to say that we're just going into town to explore town. That's not quite a lie, but it's not the whole truth either, you know?
We've gone to town to learn about the judicial system.
Yeah, that's what Reggie was gonna say.
Yeah, great.
Just gonna be
Genius. All right, A+, I'm with it.
I had
+1.
I had a discussion with the carpenter, and there's an opportunity for us to go into town and learn something about the civil process.
Ms. Maybell seems slightly concerned. Says, "All right, well, mind your manners with the sheriff. Make sure you do anything he asks of you." Fortunately, the town is not too. It's up the road. You walk past a few farming fields, and you'll be at the main road, where this road intersects the main road. That's where all the action is. So, that will be where you're headed. Ooh, excuse me. Alrighty. As you're heading up the main road, you notice that there are some people out in the barley field. They are beginning to harvest the barley. It's going to take them a while, but they're starting near their farmhouse. And there are some kids out there who are not allowed to use the giant scythes. Yeah. Seeing a troop of 5 kids walking down the road, the 2 kids from the farm run over and through the fence say, "Hello. Where are you headed?"
We're just going into town.
You're the kids whose parents are all died, right?
Not exactly.
Reggie says, "Murdered. My parents were murdered."
Ooh, their eyes go wide.
Fucked up kids.
The older of the 2 says, "Well, I know a thing or two around these parts, you know. Maybe if you need some help, I could keep you safe for a price." He's trying his best to look tough, but is no older than you are.
God, I thought I was going to say I know a thing or two about murder these parts. That's just going to say I think we're good. I think we're good. You can tag along if you want. That's being older.
Little one says, "Can we? Can we?" Everyone says, "Nah, we gotta stay here. Once they bale up the barley, we gotta haul it." He looks quite upset about the chores that he's been assigned. He says, "Well, think about what I said. It's not wise to make enemies." And then they shuffle back towards the farm, where they're going to be binding and carrying bales of barley into a cart for probably the rest of the week. Farming is a long process, especially in the absence of ridiculous technological advantages. Alrighty, proceeding up the road, you pass the forest. There is, of course, rustling and the temptation to go adventuring there. And the cows on the other side are mooing and being cow-like. And then you continue. It's a slight upward grade as you are heading away from the ocean up towards the road and then the sort of foothills. There never really were mountains in this area. There's just sort of elevation. But it's enough of an elevation that streams do flow down towards the ocean. Such as the one that you're following. Alrighty. Coming up, you come up initially behind the inn and the general store. So coming up the road to your right, there's this sort of improvised archery range where in the back of the general store. And on the left, there's this loading area, a sort of cart dock for loading and unloading of supplies for the inn. These are fairly large establishments. They're not, because they are running the entire, it's not a big town, but they're running the entirety of that town's business. So they do take a lot of stuff. And they're there. Across the street from the inn is the herbalists, and on sort of the other side, which does require crossing a small bridge, you find the jail. It's sort of a jail slash courthouse slash office building for the sheriff. And already 2 of your compatriots are there receiving messages from the sheriff to run off. Generally, the sheriff directs things from a large rocking chair on the front stoop of the courthouse. And so there he is, giving messages to your friends.
Are we like surreptitiously going to visit this prisoner, or are we going to be like, hey, let us look at the weird guy?
So both kids that got a glimpse of the weird guy report that they were immediately shooed out and told they're not supposed to talk to him.
Got it. So surreptitiousness then. Don't be sneaky.
Now, from what you've heard, the sheriff knows a great deal about the nature of stealth. Sneaking might be a difficult thing here. So, yeah. Formulate a plan.
Well, this isn't necessarily this, but it's just a general idea. We have 2 people who are just doing their chores here who could absolutely have been arranged to distract the sheriff when we got there.
It's very true.
All right, let's figure out how we're going to get this guy's attention away, all the adults' attention away from this door, or this access to this prisoner. How many people are in charge of making sure no one's in that area?
So right now, there is the sheriff on the front porch and the deputy inside the courthouse. You can't see the deputy's position at the moment, but you can see the sheriff's. But the other kids assure you the deputy is there. His other deputies are elsewhere in the town, and he gives orders to the kids for them to run over to those deputies, and they write replies back. The kids are basically running a small mail service for the sheriff.
I have an idea. I don't know how well if they know what the thing is sent is we could intercept one of the letters and make it something else, like one of their surprise birthday party or something, and then 2 have to go to it right now. Something silly like that. It's a random thought.
Everybody on board with this?
So the premise is that somebody's going to a surprise birthday party. Is that am I understanding that correctly?
You're gonna send it to one of his sheriff, his
Deputies.
and the deputy's gonna come here and be like it's like, oh, let's go, and he has to tell the letter be like, don't tell him exactly what's going on until you get to like the surprise area. And it's written by the deputy inside the building. So the sheriff has no idea what's going on. But then again, technically the deputy inside also doesn't know what's going on. So they'll all arrive at one place, confused why they got a letter to go to a surprise party, and there's not going to be anyone there.
And they are adults.
Yeah.
They're
And you would think-
they're adults
we
who
are
train people
children.
in crime and stealth. Yeah.
We are children.
Reggie scratches his head and says, "We could light the barley field on fire." Then he goes,
No.
"No, that's too much. We could tell them there's a troll in the woods."
They're our friends. They're friendly.
The troll? He says.
Yes.
Reggie shrugs and says, "Okay, if you say so."
What did we have for breakfast?
Breakfast was delicious. There was fresh fruit, cheese bread, and milk. Cold milk, no less.
So the potential to be able to pop in a squishy fresh fruit into my pocket when we're having breakfast.
Yep.
Well, I'm a little bit fast, so I'm just gonna like walk up to near where the sheriff is. I'm gonna pull out the ripe fruit. I'm gonna huck it at his face and then start running away.
Okay, make a throwing check.
Guessing that's agility. So agility with no other dice.
Unless you're trying, if you're trying to hit a specific spot on the sheriff, then it might be perception, like trying to snipe. But yeah, it's probably.
Can he argue for performance?
Well, I have no dice in that anyway for that.
Yeah, but it'd be funnier.
Gotta get that trait. When you think about it, everything is performance.
The sheriff catches the fruit in his gloved hand. Good attempt, though. Those were some good successes you rolled on your 2 dice there.
We're not going to talk about the sheriff rolling a 666.
The sheriff did kind of nail that roll. Sure, this is good. That was a mighty good throw. Looks at the envelopes. Bit too ripe, this one, though. Might be good for target practice.
I like how Miss Maybell was like, "Be good, be good. Don't fuck with the sheriff."
Sheriff gets up off of his rocking chair, steps down off the porch of the courthouse, out into the road, and says, "Here, let me show you kids a thing." He walks down to the bridge, puts the apple on the guardrail of the bridge, and then takes a few steps back, makes sure that there's nothing on the other side of that apple that's a person or anything. He's very careful about safety. And then in a motion so quick, he draws a short bow off his back, notches an arrow, and let's see what happens.
Mental successes on last roll.
Yeah, and just snipes that apple right off the bridge. Arrow straight through it. Because it's a bit rotten, it kind of explodes. Juicy bits flying everywhere.
I don't know about you all, but that
Here.
sounds like an opportunity to me.
I forget where's the so he shot the apple stuff into the water.
Yeah, into the stream. Do you want me to draw like a little picture of what this crossroads looks like? Let me do that. Let's make a little chart here. All right, so we've got the main road. Here's the main road here. Let's give it a nice color that makes sense.
May I ask where you're doing this at?
I have created a new document. That is not cooperating with me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. There we go. There's a dirt road. I can share my screen if that's easier than looking at the document. The document is called Center of Town Crossroads. Now, part of this road is a bridge. Which goes over a stream. There's also the road you guys came from, which continues uphill and off towards where the mill is. Meow. Okay, now for the buildings. So we've got the inn. I will color code purple. No, wait. I had the wrong thing selected.
So Reggie asks, so how do you become sheriff then?
Sheriff says, we had an election. Important thing about being sheriff is you need the folk to trust you. If no one trusts you, you can't do your job. So there's no point in trying if you don't have the support of the people.
Reggie nods in approval.
Do you ever have to Have you ever had to like arrest anyone?
Of course.
Ooh. Have you arrested anyone lately?
Why, I have, most surely.
Ooh. Could you? Is it possible for you to like show up? Do you like? Where do you take them after you arrest them? Do you have like a prison or something?
That's right. Got some nice sturdy jails in the back. So you kids behave.
You know, the best way to make sure we don't go into there and to end up there is to show us that area.
Ain't a bad idea, but right now we aren't taking visitors.
How come?
Got some bad folk back there right now.
What'd they do?
Oh, that ain't right for your ears to hear, you being so young and all. But don't you worry none, they won't be hurting you. Not as long as I've got them under lock and key. Okay. Hopefully this is understandable. So.
While everybody else is talking to the sheriff, Reggie's just gonna go walk into the prison and see if he can just see if anyone's in there.
So to give you an idea here, you see where the bridge is. The sheriff put the apple on the east side of the bridge and shot it off into the creek. That's basically what he did.
This probably sounds like a dumb question, but do arrows float or do they just sink?
Most arrows float because they're mostly made of wood. Obviously, if an arrow is made of something like iron, it would sink.
Very small rocks.
What are your arrows made of? Are they mostly wood?
Yeah, mostly wood. Though blacksmith forges some fine arrowheads for me.
So you're saying that they would float in the water, right?
That's right.
And the bathhouse is down the river, right?
He catches your meaning.
If someone were to be having a bath right now and an arrow would come out of the fountain and land on them, it might impact them, right?
He catches your meaning just as he notices the arrow floating downstream with bits of apple around it and jumps off the bridge into the river.
Nice.
Well, Nest is going to start like ushering the kids inside the prison because this is the only opportunity.
Okay.
Yep.
You have entered into the courthouse. So the initial room is basically just an office. It's not even formal looking. It's a desk with parchment all over it. There's lots of little cubby holes with different parchments put in them. There's a deputy in the room just going through the parchments, doing paperwork, scratching his head at some of the numbers that he doesn't really understand. And there's 2 doors that lead out of this room further back. One of them has some bars over its window and a big hefty lock on it. There is a keyring with keys. The other door is ajar and seems to lead to a sort of like a formal meeting room, probably where they have trials and such. It's a larger space where more people could fit.
I'm back. So what is our current obstacle to get into the prison? We need to get the keys from the deputy?
So to get into the jail, you would probably need keys from the deputy. Yeah. Or, well, I mean, you can see the keys are hanging on the wall, but there is a deputy in the room. When the deputy notices you, he looks up from the paper and says, "Oh, did sheriff send you?"
Sheriff said we were going to have a tour around here. He said that best way to keep us out of prison is to show us what it looks like if we get caught.
Well,
Yeah.
that don't sound
do you-
right. Sheriff told me to make sure that the kids stayed clear of this prison at all costs.
Reggie shrugs and says, "Hey, I'm just telling you what I heard."
Yeah.
All right,
The sheriff-
I best check with him.
Yeah, he's currently in the river trying to grab an arrow before it punctures someone in the showers.
Oh, he's in the river? All right, then. We'll just wait till he gets back.
I don't know, it looks like he was struggling a little bit. I think he might need a little help to make sure that the bathhouses are safe from his own arrow. Wouldn't want to lose trust by accidentally getting someone injured by the sheriff's arrow.
What was the sheriff doing before we talked to him?
He was sitting on a rocking chair on the front porch.
We just
So
made
basically
it.
like
We just made
nothing.
his life like all kinds of hell in like 3 minutes.
He did it to himself. Okay, he wasn't considering the safety implications.
Reggie shrugs and says, "This is what you get from your elected officials."
I don't think the deputy's buying it. I start asking him, "So what do you do around here?"
Deputy says, Sheriff's deputy, I mostly handle the paperwork, make sure we got everything filed. We have to keep Celebre appraised of criminal activities and such. And of course, when taxing comes round, it's up to us to make sure taxes are all paid up.
Oh, you need these papers. I'll go up there to they start rifling through them, tossing some on the ground as I'm looking at them. Oh, these are interesting.
Hey, now, you stop that. All right, you kids need to head out of here. He starts trying to round you up.
I'm gonna be a dodgy little mofo.
Help! I'm being oppressed.
Would it be safe to say that there's chaos happening right now?
Yes, I think it would be safe to say that there's some chaos
Nest is
happening.
just going to quietly go and take the keys off
Okay.
the wall.
Make probably a crime plus agility check. Or stealth plus agility, either one would be working.
Would I be able to use athletics to keep the deputy occupied?
Yes. Yeah, athletics plus agility. See if you can keep the deputy. Nope, he catches you immediately. All right, Ness, you got one roll in this for your friends being dragged out the door. All right, well, you get the success you needed. That was given that there were 4 dice. That was a close thing there, but yep. Or wait, was that Tice's? Hold on, I haven't.
That was Tice.
Oh, okay. Tice
To
bought
keep
you.
them occupied.
Tice bought you an extra try then.
All right.
I'm sorry, I read those backwards. I thought that first one was Tice.
No. So I have I have another go at this now.
You have another go at this before Tice gets tossed out. You still can't.
Randomness.
They're big keys, and you're trying not to, be obvious about
Jangle them.
it.
Can we see into the prison area at all?
Yes,
Like
there
the
is a
window?
barred window.
Can I use leadership to assist her roll to get the keys?
Is there a
Yes.
window to the outside?
From inside the prison?
Yes.
Yes.
It's from inside the jail cells. What I was asking.
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
like-
From it. Inside the jail cells, there are 2 normal jail cells that have actual windows looking out to it. Yeah. And then there's the weird jail cell that is suspended from the room.
And there are people in just the suspended one?
There's 1 person in the suspended one. Nobody else in any of the other cells.
Could I talk to this person through the window from outside? I think that's feasible.
Not in a non-obvious way.
I see.
You'd be shouting into the room, and anyone within earshot would hear you. Yeah. So that's not a no. Yes, you can. Just be aware that if you do it, you're going to be noticed immediately by others. That's come along as quite a nice little map there.
Yeah. So Jackie wanted to do leadership.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could help Vivian get the keys.
Okay. What are you going to do to help?
First, I need to know how high up off the ground are the keys.
The keys are about 4 feet off the ground.
So presumably, if I'm taller than the keys, which this character would be taller than 4 feet, I could put myself in front of the line of sight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
The keys were not positioned to prevent children from getting to them. They were positioned to be convenient to the deputy.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to advise Ness to. What are you wearing? Like, what do you have? Like a dress or a skirt or a shawl or something?
Probably some sort of like shawl type thing.
Cool. I'm going to advise you to throw those around the keys to muffle them so that they don't make such a large sound. And I'm going to stand in front and just like wave my arms around it and be like, hey, like I'm going to pretend to try to control the situation with Tice's character, but going to make the situation more awkward for the deputy trying to deal with the child.
Okay. Make a leadership. This is cunning, I think. To me, this is a cunning plan.
I have 1 point in. I have gifted leadership, but I don't have points in leadership. So how do I roll this?
Your gift is, I believe, a pips, I think. How many pips depends on whether or not you took an eccentricity.
No, it's standard.
Okay, so I think it's 2 then? There you go. Okay. With your cunning plan, Nest is able to get the keys, and now she's standing next to the jail cell with the keys. The deputy is not going to be distracted for much longer. Somebody else could try and continue the distraction as Tice's character is dragged out the front door.
I mean, I have.
We have the keys now. We can come back, get back in later. So we could just, in theory, go along with this and usher.
I'm going to
About
assume
the
that they will notice that these giant keys are gone.
Only if they need them.
I mean, we could just barricade ourselves in the prison. I mean, you know, it would
I
get
mean,
us
that's
potentially in trouble. But I mean, my character does have smuggle, but I don't have the points in crime or trade to pay for it. So
That's
There's a
interesting.
window we could fit through, or like just could be, yeah, like bars.
The windows are barred. Yeah. The windows in the courthouse might not be, like the courtroom might not be barred, but the windows in the jails are barred.
I mean, we only need one of those keys. The others could go in the river. I don't
how
know.
are we going to tell which key we need?
Well, I mean, that's the challenge, really. You know, but I mean, the deputy needs all of the keys, presumably, and he presumably needs all of the keys before the sheriff gets back.
All right, Tice, you've been deposited outside. The deputy is turning around to go and get your friends. You can hear the sheriff splashing and cursing somewhere downriver.
I think we should leave quietly and maybe sneak in the back. And
Yeah. As we leave, like that's good. I'm so sorry about them.
as one of the older children as well, Reggie's just like, yeah, they're young, you know. Just we'll try and keep them in line.
Yeah.
I look at the deputy and say, I'm really sorry. These kids have all been through a lot, and sometimes they act out.
Reggie begins crying.
It's all right now, all right. No need to make a fuss. Just go out and play. There's plenty of good fields to go running through. Hell, I bet Grammy's got something sweet cooking up over there. Just cross the bridge.
He's like, get far away from here, basically. Go away.
Can we hear the sheriff still?
Yes, it sounds like he's climbing back up onto the road and on his way back.
So I say, I think we can crawl in through the window into the courthouse, and the prison has to connect to the courthouse. That's usually how it works.
Yep, got to be able to take the prisoners in and out of it.
Cool. I will be right back to get some water and a snack.
Are you going to do any preparation before engaging in this stealth operation? Or are you just going straight there?
I'm gonna scope the place out. So we're like the windows around back, so hopefully right, so we don't have to go up on the porch or anything. Like, is it really high up, or is it kind of regular?
No, this is a single-story building. It's not super complicated. It really only has 3 rooms. There's the front office, there's the jails, and there's the courtroom.
Okay.
How many keys are on this key ring that I have?
4.
All right, I'll take them off the key ring and pass them around to probably the older kids, so that they don't jangle. I can put my shawl back on.
So Reggie looks at all of the assembled children and just says, "We're going to go in and we're going to talk to someone. We have to be very, very quiet. Everyone take their shoes off and leave them in the grass."
So Nest has a key. Nest would probably give Reggie a key. Is anybody else like an older, like slightly responsible kid?
I would claim myself as responsible.
You were the one who got kicked out. Nest is not giving you a key.
Hey, I got us this far. It was all my actions that have caused us to get this far.
Even the apple. It's been this sort of controlled chaos, well, without the control.
Yeah. The problem is that if they see you, they're going to kick you out again. And they're going to find the key on you. And then they're going to know that the keys have gone missing. And they're going to find only one key. And then they're going to be like, wait, which of the other kids took keys? So I don't know. I think she also gave one to Lyka because Lyka, like, helped get out, I guess. And then out. Free key available, I guess. I'm just trying to make sure that they don't jangle while we do stealth.
Alrighty. So you got your keys divided amongst you. They're not jangling. The sheriff is coming up the road to the crossroads. Sees you kids gathered out in front of the courthouse. Holds up the arrow triumphantly. Says, "No danger, kids. Everything's safe."
Ooh, I'll run up to him and be like, "You're amazing. Can I have that as a trophy?"
He says, "Oh no, your missus, she would string me up for sure if I gave you something this sharp. But I'll tell you what, you go talk to my dad over at the general store. He's got an archery range in the back that's kid safe. It's what I trained on when I was a youngster." The doors, by the way, are not to scale, but I have put them there. I did not put the windows, but I can also do that if you guys need that info.
So which one is the court? Oh, the courthouse is where the courthouse name is, I'm guessing?
Yes, courthouse/jail.
Yeah, I mean, like the doors.
Right, so there's a front door on the front porch of it, at the front. And then there's this other little door at the back. That door does not go into the jail section, though.
It goes into the courthouse?
Yeah, well, it probably goes into the courtroom. Yeah, the room where they actually hold trials. See, because for sake of decorum, the judge has to come in through a different door than everybody else. It's part of what makes him special.
Who's even the judge?
In a town like this, that's going to be something that kind of goes on rotation. To keep things fair, it's important that the judge is not the sheriff. Otherwise, the position could be abused.
I'm back. Sorry for the delay.
So judges could be visiting officials from the Rights and Properties Guild, from Celebre, if it's a particularly important case where they need strong legal knowledge, or if it's a local dispute over whose cow it is that's eating somebody's fence or something, then they'd probably just go get Grammy, or somebody else who's generally respected in the town.
Yeah, Sheriff, who is the current judge right now?
Sheriff says, "Well, there ain't no trial happening right now. Got no need for a judge. But there'll be one coming soon, if you want to meet one. few days' time, there'll be a judge coming up from Celebrate.
Who is he? Or that, or her?
Don't know. Haven't met him yet.
Are they very important?
Well, I hope so. I hope our little town warrants somebody important. After all, they did send all them fancy Crimson Guard to make sure you kids got here safe.
Yeah, that was strange.
I'll bet. There's lots that happen when you're wee that don't make sense till you get big.
So I know we can't see the jail cell because you said that's not open to visitors right now, but can we see the courtroom?
Yeah, he shrugs his shoulders. All right, that'd be fair. Don't see no harm in that. So he goes up, opens up the front door, hands a a handkerchief with bits of apple to his deputy, tells him to toss those out. Just kind of puts the arrow down on the desk, absentmindedly, like he's forgotten that you guys were after it for some reason, and opens up the other door on the other side of the office. So opposite the door that, or I guess it's on the same wall, but the other side, away from the desk, there is a much nicer looking door that opens up into a room with a bunch of chairs, a couple small tables that look like maybe a place where a prosecution and defense would sit, and then a big table on a raised platform with a big high seat for a judge. Behind that, there's another door that looks like it leads into some kind of little preparation room, maybe, but you can see through that door's window that it's feet away from another door that just leads right out the back. It's no more than really a closet. It's like a changing closet. The judge goes in through the back door, puts on a robe, and then comes out and does their judging thing. Sheriff is happy to give a tour. He points to the prosecution table and says, this is where I stand to make sure that the bad uns get the punishments they need. Of course, half the time, there's not really a bad un. It's a thing you'll learn as you get older. Most situations, everyone's just kind of watching out for themselves. No one's particularly bad. You just got to figure out what's fair. End of the day, most folk are happy if they got a warm meal in their bellies at the end of it all anyway.
Reggie shrugs and says, bunch of terrorists killed my dad, and now they're on the throne of Celebrate. Doesn't sound super fair, but I'll take your word for it. I guess I don't understand that yet.
Thrones are a matter a bit above my pay grade. I'm decent with a sword, but I ain't ready to fight no wars. Shame to hear about your pops, though.
So, is there any so like any door that like looks like it might lead to like the jailhouse area?
Yes. Unlike the one in the office, this one does not have a window. It's just a solid door.
Is there an easier way to distinguish like what the shape of the lock is? Does it or do the key, like for the key?
These
or do you have to
keys,
just test it?
these keys look like they were all made to roughly the same pattern, just with different teeth. it's not a super complicated lock. The key goes in. If it's got the right teeth, it'll turn. If it doesn't, it won't. It's unlikely they were able to afford advanced anti-intrusion techniques on their locks. Although such intrusion techniques are available in Celebre, but this is not a wealthy town. There actually does seem to be a bit of a sharp distinction between the level of wealth on display here in the courthouse, which is pretty low in terms of like technology and expenditures, and both the inn and your orphanage, which are using higher tech things like magical cooling boxes to keep food fresh and stuff. It's almost like you guys are being way better funded than the courthouse here.
Huh, I see.
Well, hope that satisfies your curiosity, kids. Tell you what, you want to go out through the judge's door just this once? Then you can head on up the river towards the mill house. Go have some fun up there.
That sounds great.
So he opens up the door to the judge's changing closet. If the door swung inward, it wouldn't even be able to open. The closet is so small. It only works because it opens outward. And then he opens the next door, which leads out into the sort of grassy field out back where the river is running. You're on the wrong side of the river to be on the road, but that doesn't seem to bother anybody.
Is there a judge's hammer in there?
There is. And there's a robe hanging from a little changing hook.
As I'm walking by, I'm going to grab the judge's hammer, and I'm just gonna once get out. So I'm gonna just whip it into the river.
Okay.
This is why we didn't give you a key.
All right, you're going to be making an opposed roll, as sheriff is not going to like when you grab that. So grabbing it, that's fine. You can do that. Getting clear enough from the sheriff where you can toss it into the river before he grabs you, that's going to be some agility right there.
All right, I'm gonna do my athletics. Hopefully, I do better this time against a fully grown adult. Come on. I only have to.
Can I assist this with
Yes.
leadership? All right. So Nest is going to go and in very much a no, don't do this, but in a way that's actually just getting in the way of the sheriff.
All right, I like
no,
that.
stop. It's going just stick an arm and a shoulder in there, and just try and be in the way a little bit.
Great roll from Tice.
That's a great roll. I assume that this is also cut.
This is definitely cunning. And probably performance, I'd say.
All right.
Okay. You just barely got it. It's able to toss it in. What is the excuse you give to the sheriff as he looks agape at what you just did? Says, all right, now, we've learned something here, and that's that if you throw something in the river, you got to go get it. Go on now.
I need a supervision.
You're damn right you do. Good grief. All right, so he grabs you by the back of your shirt and starts dragging you towards the river.
Amazing.
Okay, I got at least one person distracted.
All right. I guess we could like. One person's not going to meet the guy in the prison cell, but
He'll have his own boasts, don't worry. Distracted the sheriff twice. Got the sheriff to go to the river twice.
All right, guys. He's basically tossing you into the river and telling you, "Go fetch my hammer." I fetched the arrow. You got to fetch the hammer. While that's happening, what is everyone else doing?
We gotta get back in that judge's room.
All right, you're back in.
Let's start trying keys.
I mean, there's only 4 keys. Like, within some number of tries, you find the right one.
We had a 25% chance of winning.
So you get the
Right.
door open, and you're inside. 2 jail cells are up against the wall, with windows to the outside. And then
Okay, point of order, we close the door behind us and lock it.
Okay. Is that all 4 of you in there?
Unless anyone objects.
That's fine.
Troy?
Yeah, that sounds good. Both doors?
You only opened the one.
There's 2 doors. Oh no, you mean I was talking about the room,
I mean,
like the room that let out.
once you
But I
get,
guess he has a key for that.
once you're in the jail, the other door in the jail leads to the room the deputy's in. And yeah.
Oh, I meant the door for the courtroom, since that led outside. I thought that's the one we were talking about originally, but the jail room makes sense. Yeah. Locking that's good.
All right. Vivian, did you have anything that you were trying to make sure happened here?
no, I think I'm done. But
All
I
right.
did.
Okay. You guys are in now. The guy is basically hanging from. He's in what's like a bird cage, basically, that has been just a very large bird cage has been made out of iron and hung from the ceiling with multiple chains, each going to the 4 corners of the room. It does look a little bit rigged, like this was not the intent of this building. They never meant to have this thing here. It's kind of in the way, but there it is. There is a man inside it. Be aware that there is a deputy 1 room away that, while distracted by his work, there is basically a barred window. So there's no like glass or anything. It's just bars. He'll be able to hear if anything loud happens. The man in the cage is wrapped in like dark sort of rags, but he peeks out from under a hood and looks around. Who's there? He is, for some reason, looking at his own eye level, which, even if adults were here, would be above them. So he does not seem to be fully aware of where he is or his situation.
Where was the door in correlation to the deputies, like where he was sitting? For the deputy's door.
Like directly behind his desk. The man whispers, "Secrets, secrets in the dark. It's daylight out. No secrets yet." This is a little unnerving.
Reggie says, "Who are you? Why are you in here?"
He's startled. He'd forgotten that there were people in the room. Looks down, sees you. Says, "Kids. Children. Oh, which children? Who are you?"
I asked first.
No. If I talk to the children, she'll take me down into the hard dark. I can't go to the hard dark. My lord's dark is soft, airy, like a breeze. The hard dark will crush me, kill me.
Reggie says, "This guy's a loon."
He tucks himself into his cloak, holds his hands over his ears, and says, "Every leaf is whispering. Every leaf can hear me."
What can they hear you say?
No. If they hear that I've been talking to the kids, she'll kill me. She hears everything the leaves hear.
Who is she?
He starts sobbing. She killed Frank. She killed Robert. She killed Sarah. All dead. Pulled down into the hard dark.
Ness is going to think back through all the stories, the happy like children's ones, also like all the like basically every story that Ness has heard or read, and is there any mention of the hard dark anywhere in those? This is probably a roll of some type.
It is a roll. This would be scholarship for sure. Either cunning or focus. I guess it would be focus if you had access to a library. And there is a library, but you're not in it right now.
I've recently been through the library, though. It doesn't actually matter, though.
That's true.
For me.
All right. You could use focus then if you're thinking back to the time you spent at the library. Or cunning if you're just pulling it off the top of your head.
It's literally the same roll. I don't know why I'm arguing for that. No, I don't know.
You don't know. But you might know something if you're willing to hurt your composure a little bit to remember something scary.
Sure.
Okay. So take a composure damage, and he gave you 3 names, and you're remembering that when you first pulled into the orphanage, the rags on the ground were the same color as the rags he's wearing, and there was enough of them to have been the clothing for 3 people his size.
Oh, okay. Ness is going to look up and say, were those the where was this, by the way? Along the road. Like what point?
It was in front of the orphanage, and the morning after you woke up,
Okay.
Miss Maybell was cleaning up rags off the front of the orphanage. Like the front lawn, basically.
Were those the people that I don't want to use the word attacked, that tried to get into the orphanage?
He hears the word orphanage and kind of shivers back into his cloak even more, but he can't retreat from you. He's stuck in a cage.
Why were you trying to find the children?
You're going to definitely need to make a persuasion roll to get this guy to talk. Probably plus empathy.
Nope.
Yeah. He is terrified of being apparently murdered. He thinks that he'll be killed if he talks to you. And he appears to believe that if he talks to you, the leaves will find out about it and tell somebody. Which doesn't sound sane, but you do live in a world that has wizards and dragons, and druids and witches and beholders and other such things. So, yeah. Meanwhile, in the stream, Tice, are you retrieving the hammer?
Yeah, I was hoping to I always forget how deep the river is.
It's about waist deep.
I was hoping to keep him a bit more distracted by when you said he tossed me to the river, right?
Yeah.
I want to sort of like athletics look like I sort of went like a little bit top forward heavy, and I want to look like I like went head first into it, and I bonked my head. I'm just going to start floating down the river.
All right, make a performance plus empathy check. Presuming you're not going to actually literally bonk your own head.
I don't think so.
Okay. You hear him cursing up a storm as he chases after you.
Child endangerment.
Miss Mabel's not gonna be happy.
We could totally spin it too and be like, Miss Mabel, he got really excited about showing us this trick he could do with his crossbow, and it just got out of hand from there.
It is a short bow, not a crossbow.
Sorry, short bow.
Which I say that only because it's the miller who has the crossbow. Okay, so you end up floating down by the bridge. You're going to pass under the bridge. At this point, I think you may have gone past where the hammer is. But yeah, he's going to lose sight of you unless he gets down in the river too. What's your plan?
I want to like quickly. Is there like an under thing in the bridge? I want to like cling onto get up onto the top, like underneath the bridge to like cling underneath, so that looks like I just like vanished.
Yep, the bridge is made of very large stones, very crudely cemented together. There are plenty of handholds.
So when he like goes to see me like float on the other side of the river, and I just don't ever show up.
Right. At which point he drops down into the river to go looking for you. Checking under the bridge. At which point I think he'll probably see you there, so yeah. So, he pulls the hammer out, because it's like, the gavel is just floating past him, so he picks it up, puts it on his belt, sighs, says, "You kids, so much trouble." He just starts laughing.
Not as much trouble as the person that runs the orphan. Seems like everyone's scared of her.
He stops when he hears that, kind of sighs, and says, "Yeah, we got our reasons. Important thing is she keeps you safe." She weren't always like that, you know.
Oh, what happened?
Not sure if it's right for me to say, but her family isn't with us anymore. I think that's why she started doing what she does.
My family faded.
Thing is, before she set up the orphanage, she went on a long trip. Way up north. No telling how far. Came back different, you know? Not just different like her family was lost, but different. Anyway, it's nothing to be worried about. She keeps you kids safe. Grammy keeps you fed. Everything's gonna be fine.
So I guess I'm going to be experience that courtroom, aren't I?
He laughs, says, if I got dragged into court for all the stuff I got up to when I was a youngster, I'd never be sheriff. Now, you just learn to respect other people's property. We'll consider your bath here sufficient lesson. No more tours for you, though, now. I've learned my lesson quite well. And he climbs up and just kind of leaves you there. Meanwhile, back inside, the increasingly agitated man has been so far unresponsive to the people who've been talking to him so far. Did anyone else want to give a try?
I just don't know what I would say. I mean, I guess I'll tell him, we're not here to hurt you. We just want to know why you're here. We promise we won't tell anyone. Your secrets are safe with us.
All right,
That's what I got.
Yeah, go ahead and make a persuasion plus empathy.
You got this.
Okay. That's you get a little bit out of him. He says, my secrets no, you're not safe with my secrets. He kind of took your sentence and turned it backwards. It's not that your secrets are safe with him, it's that you're not safe with his secrets.
Hmm.
And then he starts laughing. Like it's all a joke. Anyone else want to make a roll? See what they can do? You'll have to tell me what you're saying first before you roll.
I feel like I should try, but he's more and more insane. Sorry, I'm trying not to edit the spreadsheet with my push to talk. All right, so I would say something along the lines of, like, you talked about your friends dying, and like no one else should die. Like don't be a coward. Be like help us with your secrets. Like be stronger, and you're just like trying to inspire him to talk.
Make your roll. Let's see what that results in. Something about the way you phrased it catches him, and he looks at me and goes, do you already know my secrets? He kind of unfolds himself, leans way towards you, pressing his face up between two of the bars, and just like stares at you. He's like, is there already dark inside you? He's looking very intently. It's actually extremely intimidating. Give me a second here. Take 2 composure damage, unless you're going to mitigate that with something. So he looks like he's like looking into you. Like there's some space somewhere between your eyes and the back of your head that he's really intently focused on, studying. That was, by the way, a success. So there's a lot of information in that for you to unpack. Your investigation does not necessarily need to end here either. There is a library just across the river, next, kind of in the back of the herbalist shop. In fact, I'm just going to put that on the map. It's a collaborative effort between the herbalist and the miller. They both kind of collectively maintain a tiny little library. And Vivian, I don't think you've made a roll to try and get answers out of this guy, but you're welcome to.
Oh, have I not?
Nope. To my knowledge, no. You have talked, but you haven't actually made a persuasion roll on anything you said yet. That I see in the record anyway, scrolling through.
All right.
Mostly,
She's just going.
yeah. Okay, sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. She's just going, or just going to sort of just like look up at this guy, try make eye contact, and go. We just want to know why did you want us? Why were you after us?
Okay, make the roll.
Just this is empathy plus something I don't have.
Persuasion, yeah. Okay. The answer is very simply, not for me, for my lord, for the darkness. The calmness with which he said it and sort of composed himself is a little bit unnerving. Everyone in the room take a composure damage, as the bright daylight outside just seems to darken when he says it.
With a shaky voice, like it says, "Who is your lord?"
And it's at roughly this point that you hear the sheriff come in. Not into the jail, thankfully for you guys, but into the office. Bad timing, right?
Is there like can we like hide against the wall in this room or something?
I mean, you can try. It's not exactly hiding. The room's only functional walls are bars, not really walls. So there aren't hiding spaces. By design, there aren't hiding spaces. It's supposed to be so that the jailers can see the jailed clearly and easily. There is the other door that leads into the courthouse. The man has turned his attention to the sound from the main room.
Yeah, Ness is just going to try and like usher these kids, all the kids, like through this door here. Not wanting to get caught.
Okay. So you
like really hushed whispers. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Door open only just enough.
All right, you get out into the courtroom, and it's roughly then that you hear the sheriff say, "Where are the keys?"
Leave him in the courtroom and dip.
Are you going to leave the keys on the ground in the courtroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Put them back on the ring.
No, that's in the other room.
Oh, I thought we were going to go chuck the keys into the river for.
No. That's too cruel. Poor guy.
Also, you're gonna
Yeah, but-
implicate me.
Do we not have the thing to like put them back on to? And it looks
We do,
suspicious.
I
that all
don't
the
think we
keys are
really
separate?
have time for that. But while we like get outside and then put them all on the ring, and then like just leave them in the grass like they got dropped.
Yeah, like right, or just in that room. Because we're gonna run out the back, right?
Well, what I was thinking was we get outside, we get out of there, so where nobody could say, "Hey, what? Why are you all still here?" Right? We could just be playing in the grass. If we're still in the courtroom, that's suspicious.
Yeah.
And then take the time then to put the keys on the ring and drop them.
All right. You gather out in the grass, put the keys on the ring, place them somewhere where someone's likely to trip over them, and meet back up with Tice's character. So, Elros. Yeah, Elros. Really, this has been Elros all that time. Oh, that's funny. All right.
Oh, funny.
You're like
Elros
a
is
little
going to
gnome
be...
child, right?
What's that?
What race is Elros?
Elf.
Elf.
Alrighty, so you guys are you're gathered up. Where would you like to go next in investigating this?
Library?
There's all kinds of information at the library, although there is a heavy leaning towards herbalism information and engineering information due to the two people who take care of it being an herbalist and a professional engineer. But the miller and the herbalist witch do keep some other things there as well.
What are we looking for anyway? What did you find out from the guy?
Mostly he's crazy, but I think he was one of the people that tried to capture us or something when we first arrived.
Yeah, that's probably. Or I think this is more like a thing that Reggie would explain about the like shawls and stuff. But that's going to bring it up. Like, there's like, if you remember that first night, there was like a bunch of like rags and stuff that were outside that Miss Mabel's cleaned.
Yeah. I know I picked up a
Yeah,
bunch of them.
those were clothes, and he had the same clothes.
You mean I was picking up corpse clothes?
The thought sends a shiver down your spine.
Because yeah, that's how I distracted to get to the woods the first day. Was I picked up a bunch of the rags and I tossed them in the backyard.
That's right. That was your very first adventure.
So what information are we looking for at the library anyway?
We're looking for something about the. Oh my god, I've already forgotten what the specific term was.
Dark Lord or whatever?
The hard dark.
The hard dark is what I was looking for. Yeah, the hard dark, and like he's kept talking about like some like wanting to take the children for the darkness or something.
He's hard dark. He says he was asking if the darkness was already inside you, and he was going to take you for his lord, which he referred to as the darkness. All right, so the library is quite possibly the most boring thing a child can do. These are not picture books. There is no fun person reading them with silly voices. This is a research library, and being in it is painfully boring. Anyone who wishes to may take a point of tax to your composure to attempt to stay in the library long enough to make a scholarship plus focus roll to acquire information. Please be specific about the information you're researching so that I can give you specific results. Otherwise, I will punish you with random trivia.
I fucking love trivia. Let's go.
Who wants to spend a tax on their composure to do what is the antithesis of being a child and research something at the library?
Well, I'm one of the older kids, so I'll volunteer because my attention span is actually, not smaller than 5 minutes.
I also have a lot of composure to use, so Nest will look specifically for something about the hard dark.
Okay.
Reggie will tax composure, and he is going to be looking for something specifically around criminal records and court records, and records about where the orphanage came from and who Miss Mabel is.
Okay. Has anyone made the rolls yet?
I have not yet.
This is scholarship plus focus, right?
Correct.
So.
The higher your focus, in theory, the more time you can spend before the boredom damages you.
What were our categories so far? I'm just trying to make sure I don't double up on someone else's thing. Courtrooms or Mabel specifically. Was anybody looking into just like topics on like the obvious, which was like darkness, Lord of Darkness?
Nest is looking directly into like specifically the hard dark that he said that he was going to be dragged into. So,
Ed, I see you got a success there, and you were looking for documents regarding Miss Mabel.
I'm interested in why would someone want to attack the orphanage? Who's Miss Mabel? When was the orphanage established? Have there been attacks before? I'm looking at civil records, basically.
I'll do the same, but specifically for do they have news? News? Is news a thing that they do here?
Indeed. So,
I've been curious about why we were escorted. Why was there Crimson Guard escort to an orphanage, right?
Yeah.
In the middle of a war.
So you got one success. So you have you've found out what probably Tice could have told you. He learned from the sheriff, but Miss Mabel's family was killed in a bandit attack, and she was the only survivor. She lost 2 sisters and both her parents. And as the only survivor, she kind of was left to her own devices, but the town was really supportive of her in general because it's a tight-knit community. She gathered up her things and went on a journey to the north that has not been well documented, and then she came back. And when she came back, she took up residence at what is in the documents referred to as the old schoolhouse. You're able to find a record of the old schoolhouse's original layout, and it is nothing like the orphanage, but it is in the exact same location the orphanage is in. It was a tiny building. It's 1 floor, 1 room, and it does not in any way resemble what's currently there. There also were no outbuildings. There was no bath. There was a well, but it was not the well-designed and well-built well. Further information is probably available, but you'll have to do further research.
I did not succeed in my roll.
Okay, so you take the composure damage, but you haven't found anything yet. That doesn't mean you have to stop trying. It just hurts to try.
Yeah, I only have 2 composure left, so...
Nest is going to try again.
Okay.
Can is there like a librarian here who would be helpful?
So there is a
Mari is probably there. She's
Yep.
with the herbalist today.
Can I ask Mari to like help with looking something up or something?
yes, you can.
I'm sorry,
Mari's getting paid to do it, so Mari doesn't have to suffer composure.
Mari says, "Okay, this is a scholarship roll."
Yes. Also, I see that Troy just succeeded a roll there.
Fuck yeah.
Mari. All right, we're going to deal with Troy first. Troy, what were you researching?
I'm pretty keyed into what was actually said to me, so I'm looking up anything referencing like a Lord of Darkness or like darkness inside, plaguing kind of thing.
Well, darkness has all kinds of meanings throughout all of lore. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Dwarves, in a lot of instances, revere darkness as a friend and companion. But darkness inside, you find lots of times seems to reference something called the Empty Prince. It's described as an Aphthian thing that has something to do with one of the plagues, called the Fade. Has anyone here, any party members, did any of the party members here lose their family to the Fade?
Elros.
Elros, okay. So Elros would find that particularly disturbing to learn.
Well, the shadows are my family.
It would be Troy's other character, right? That would be fucked up by that?
Yeah. Chrysosar is the other Fade one.
All right, moving on to Ed. What was Mari looking up for you?
Whatever Viv was asking Mari to look up.
I was looking at I was literally not helpful for this. I basically just went to Mari. It was like, hey Mari, can you? I'm looking for something on the. Holy shit. What's it called again? The hard dark. The hard dark. We talked to the guy in the prison. And he like said that he was going to be dragged to the hard dark if he told us anything. So I want to know what that is.
Mari says, Well, I just filed a bunch of stuff. She's like, you don't have to be a wizard to know where things are here, but it helps. And then she goes she's like, I just organized all this stuff and did some alphabetizing. And so she goes and finds the most relevant book, I guess, to what the query was.
I really want to know just what the hard dark is and why he was so afraid of it.
So it seems like hard dark is a dwarven term for underground, differentiating it from the soft dark, which is the sky at night. The hard dark is when it's dark because you're in with the rocks down in the earth. A lot of dwarven terms have started leaking into general criminal terminology throughout the really all of the West. It started around like the Middle Kingdoms, but yeah, as criminals proceed with their adventures abroad, the terms follow them. So most likely, hard dark is a reference to buried underground.
That's sighs of relief as they're more comfortable that this guy is not just after them for like some demon pact or whatever.
I mean, reference the Empty Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, yeah.
He kind of is. Well, maybe. Yeah. You have information that directs you towards the Empty Prince as a possibility. You have information that directs him towards just burying people in the ground. Although I believe his worry was that he would be dragged into the hard dark if he talked to you.
I was thinking of going a little bit of a different approach while people are going through the library. Like in the inn is the sort of the more grandmotherly figure lady, right?
Yes.
And she might know a lot more stuff. I'm gonna just get myself a little bit more wet in the river. I'm gonna go walk into the inn, all shivering and cold, and like have a little bit of dirt on my head and stuff.
Okay, so make a performance plus empathy check to see if she gives you extra cookies on top of the cookies she's already going to give you when she sees that you're cold and shivering. For every success, you get an extra cookie on top of the cookie she's already going to give you, because it's Grammy. All right, no extra cookies, but you still get cookies. As she pulls up, gets you some warm soup and some cookies, and just like, oh, poor little thing. Get you dried off. Is anybody working at the inn? Anybody have characters working at the inn today? No, okay. The inn is always a bustling place. But Grammy always takes the time to make sure the grandkids and the general children of that age in the village are taken care of. What would you like to ask of Grammy?
It's like, oh, they got a little accent. Like, I'm a little scared. Remind me of like when we first came in before. But like, if no one has said anything about exactly what happened, and I'm worried that might happen again. And I don't know how to defend myself if it happens again. Do you know anything more? I just like it. I think I'm having a little bit of nightmares about like I might have saw something when I was in the middle of the night.
Grammy sits down and says, "Oh, you poor dear. Well, let me tell you something. You don't need to worry about anything bad happening to you. I've known Miss Mabel her whole life. And let me tell you, when that girl gets her mind set on a thing, that thing is done the way she wants it done. And I was there that night you were delivered, and I can promise you, nobody's getting past Miss Mabel to hurt you."
Why does anyone want to like go here anyway? Why, like?
Oh, poor sweet thing. The world's full of bad uns. It's a hard lesson to learn. But look here at this tavern. She sort of waves her hand around and is like, half the folk here are burglars and thieves, come up from Half-Elven to try and rob somebody. But you know what? They still need a hot, warm meal. Everybody does. And as long as they're not burgling and thieving from me, they're welcome to go on their merry way. But when they start burgling and thieving from people that matter, little children, good honest folk, well, that's when we call the sheriff, and we take care of things right and proper. Can't be fussing about why you're the one they're after. You just need to know that it's all gonna be okay.
May I ask why does it seem like I know that when people might get in trouble, I've heard people talk about being scared of about our Miss Maybell, saying that they might like she's like some kind of terror in the night.
Grammy smiles. She says, "Well, everyone's a little afraid of the authority figures, aren't they? But no, let me tell you plain. Miss Mabel, maybe she has some powers of something. She does like that owl spirit an awful lot. I can tell you right now, she's good of heart, always has been, always will be."
Owl spirit?
Yeah, ain't you seen that big old owl painted on the side of your orphanage?
Yeah, I thought that was just a picture.
Oh, no, that's a special spirit from up north. Think her name was Palladia. Them Knoll folk, they really liked that owl spirit. Said the owl spirit's the one that told them to be friendly with us humans.
Is that what she found up north and came back?
Perhaps. She certainly had a lot more confidence since she took that trip.
Thank you. I guess I'll warm up and eat and stuff, and I'll go back to tell them about the Palladian. Maybe that'll help us with our information.
She hands you a few more cookies for your friends.
I come back empty-handed.
Empty-handed and with a stomach ache.
Alrighty. While Talus was doing that, did anyone want to spend any more composure trying to research things at the library?
I'm good. I'm saving my 2 composure.
I know your last 2 rolls weren't so good, but it's 50-50 every time, right?
Right. Can I ask more? So what? Can we just like get together, like have a recap of what we've learned collectively
Sure.
beforehand?
Do you need me to recap that, or do you want to recap amongst each other?
I'm kind of more interested in what.
Well, I have a
like,
basic hunch of like my basic conclusions from the stuff that we've gathered is that the man that's in the cage is a adherent to the Empty Prince, which is an Apthian demon, and that Miss Mabel is the one who dispatched his other compatriots. Am I gathering that correctly? Am I basically correct on what I've understood from what we've gathered?
Well, I was also interested in getting Tice's character back to get Elros back to share what Elros learned.
All right. Elros comes back. There's some crumbs on his shirt, but otherwise fine.
Yeah, I found out that Miss Matt, I always bad with her name, has a spirit named Paladin from the north. The giant white owl apparently is an actual spirit.
What's it do?
That is a good question. Why don't one of you go into that library?
Reggie shrugs and says, "Apparently, it disintegrates people. That's what my impression is."
Rory. I'm going to ask. Can I ask Rory to help again and find something on this spirit? And like what?
Owl spirit, she says.
Owl spirit. Paradine.
Paladin.
Peladia.
Palladia.
Mari huffs and says, "I haven't read all the books in here yet."
Well, get on it.
You guys are so lucky Marty's here. All right, so with a little bit of searching, you find that there are no owls called Palladia, but there is a reference to a woman named Palladia, who was a hero-ish of some repute in the north, which means you're more likely to find stories about Palladia in the library back at the Orphanage, where Miss Mabel keeps books on all the heroes.
That's a lot easier of a task.
It is. And that library is not boring at all, because those books have pictures, and they're really exciting and interesting to read. And if you have Miss Mabel read them, she does the voices.
Reggie rolls his eyes.
Well, I guess that's back to the orphanage.
Ugh, just give me a second. I need to sit down for a moment.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm totally fine. I told you not eat all the cookies. It's meant for everyone. Let's go back.
Dice, take a damage or a point of tax to your health, and you're going to have to roll to not throw up.
Because I'm assuming it's a lot of cookies, like probably, I'm assuming like 6 extra cookies on top of what he already had at least.
There's 5 children's worth of cookies.
Oh, so multiple. Oh god, damn.
All right, yeah. So in addition to the tax to your health, take another tax to your composure as you vomit in front of everyone.
In the library.
It's very embarrassing.
Mari sighs and then goes to get a rag.
Worth it.
I don't think it is, Ness says as she's going to kind of like carry you back to the orphanage.
The herbalist comes back with Mari, so if you're still there, she's going to give you a piece of tree bark to chew on your way back. To settle your stomach.
Okay.
It's nothing fancy, just willow tree bark. Which is basically aspirin. All right. You guys head back down the road, eventually arriving back at the orphanage. You pass by the farmhouse again. They've cleared more of the field and loaded up a couple carts, actually, with the barley. Looks like it's a good harvest this year. And then you're back. Miss Maybell is there, starting to get the evening meal prepared. You've got some time, though, if you want to spend a little bit of time in the storybook library.
Sure.
Yeah.
It isn't hard to find the book on Palladia, because Palladia is Miss Mabel's kind of hero. That's each of you has a hero that you consider like the one you play as. For Miss Maybell, that would be Palladia. Palladia was a druidess with magical powers that went on some adventures in a faraway kingdom called Talus.
Excuse me. Before we could get into this, can I just say that Nest is trying to read this out loud just like Miss Mabel?
Okay, nice. Hey, you know what? Give her a performance check.
Performance plus what?
Empathy. All right. It's sufficiently entertaining that everyone can recover 1 tax from their composure. Because that was an excellent little touch there. And, all right. And so, yeah, Palladia went on some interesting adventures in Talus, which included disguising herself with magic as an owl. At which point, the primitive Knoll tribes of the north thought that she was a spirit that they worshipped. And so in this disguise as their spirit, she convinced them to make peace with the kingdoms up there and to basically integrate, to become part of society. Instead of raiding and pillaging, they would become soldiers that would help guard and protect, and begin treating, because the Knolls are very much like, they're pack people. They're not really animals. They are people, but they're have a strong pack mentality. And Palladia's teachings taught them to expand their pack and to treat all peoples of all species and all races as all part of one bigger pack. That they
Gotta get that Dunbar number up, baby.
Yeah, And so they integrated really well, and they began to respect her, and eventually they blurred the line between her being a spirit and a person, and never really cared that it was a deception. To them, she was a person and a teacher and also an owl spirit. But then eventually she came south and actually settled and formed an orphanage in the forests north of Celebre. And every member of that orphanage was special in some way. And the storybook talks about how they each had special powers that were unique to them. It sounds a little superhero-y, but she ran this special school/orphanage for these special people with special powers, and that was her thing until one day all the children she was caring for grew up and moved out, and she has not been heard from since.
So now it sounds like she wants to raise her own school of maybe going to have potential superheroes, just like her role model.
You are absolutely welcome to interpret it that way, because that would sound really cool to kids. It would feel really good to think that you're all special and going to have superpowers.
Yeah. We're all special. We're going to have superpowers.
Absolutely.
I mean, aren't some of the kids kind of older? Like, wouldn't they be like skeptical? I don't know.
Literal dragons and wizards in this world. Just
Yeah,
remind me.
that's fair. But maybe we do, and maybe that's why there was a special guard guarding us to come here.
Ness probably doesn't believe that they're going to be special with superpowers, but does want to tell that to all the kids, because that's the sort of things that'll keep the kids
happy. Yeah, but it's not necessarily true.
Shh.
Well, this is an excellent opportunity, as the kids are starting to come home and gather. And yeah, if you want to take an opportunity, you can wait for Miss Maybell to leave before telling them all of your adventures, as she is going to go out into the orchard and gather some fresh fruit for dinner.
All right,
From the look of what's on the stove, it looks like she wants to make something akin to a pie. I say akin to a pie because she does have 18 children to feed, so it's a longer, more rectangular shaped dish, but yeah.
All right. Well, with Miss Maybell gone, you want to hear something cool?
Alrighty, so we're each going to do our boasts then. Jackie, we've changed the way we do the experience just a little bit, small tweak. There's no more voting for the initial one. You make your boast, I will give you an experience point for making your boast. It's a guaranteed point, and then everybody gets a chance to have each of their characters hand out an experience point to the players that were, or the characters that were part of the adventure.
Sure.
So yeah, let me get my sheet up with my log, and let's begin. Tice, you wanted to go first?
Yeah.
Make your boast.
So there we were. We were outside of the jail. We needed to find a way out. Luckily, I'd smuggled an apple in the way. I had attempted to hit the sheriff in the face with it, but he was nimble and he caught it. But it was all part of my plan, because then he caused himself to boast, which then he used to proceed to fire an arrow into the river, which then he had to proceed to chase to go get while we went to go sneak in there. Our next obstacle was getting the keys. So my bright idea was to mess with the deputy's papers while the others bravely were able to get the keys. And the only thing left that we needed to do was get into the actual prison. So I sacrificed myself by getting the hammer from the judge and tossing it into the river, which caused me to get in a little bit of trouble, but was successfully able to get everyone to sneak into the prison. And after that, after me dodging the shell for a little while. I made myself known, and then we went and researched that's where I went into the inn, and I found out about Paladin, an amazing hero that our Miss Maybell is projecting over, which apparently turns out that means we're all going to be superheroes with magical powers. Oh yeah, and apparently mine is all about luck.
All right, an excellent boast. You have earned an experience point. Troy, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Mine's gonna be short. I feel like. All right, so there we were all in the room, with this guy dangling in a cage, and then he was loony and crazy, and talking all kinds of nonsense. But I got all inspirational and um, tried to speak to him and bring him out of it, and then he gave us some info to go on, and then tried to intimidate me, but I shook it off, because he can't do that to heroes like us.
An excellent boast. You are awarded 1 experience point.
Well, I totally helped Ness get the keys, so totally blocked the view of that deputy, and I was like, "Oh no, you get our friend's acting up. I'm so sorry." Totally distracted him. Go for it, hook, line, and sinker. That's my boast.
All right, a great boast. You've earned an experience point. Vivian, would Nest like to make a boast?
Yeah. So when we got into the we need to get the keys to get into the jailhouse, and we were in there with the deputy, and while the deputy was busy, while the deputy was busy trying to chase Elros out, I just went and I took the keys, and then when we got in there, he started talking about all this weird darkness stuff, and so I went to the library and I really I did this for all of us. I figured it out. You know, this guy's not a good guy. He's probably going to go have a court date someplace, go get in trouble or something, and but they Miss Mabel and the sheriff saved us from them, and so yeah, we're here now, and Elros is right. Miss Mabel 3 is we're all here to one day be true heroes ourselves.
All right. An excellent boast and keeping the story going with being heroes. I know some of the characters here are really going to eat that up. Ed, I think you're the only one left who has not made a boast.
Okay, yeah. Reggie says, yeah, so we went into the courthouse. They have a courthouse here. And there's going to be a trial for some crazy man that's in the courthouse. I think he's basically crazy, but I think he thinks that he's like the servant of some demon or something. I don't really understand. And I think they're related to the people that came after us the first night we were here. It's all very interesting. Anyway, there's going to be a trial. Trials are really interesting. It's an interesting bit of civics. A trial happens when... So trials, basically, for the younger children, it's when the government decides that you did something they don't like, and so they send for someone who doesn't know you at all, and has no stake in the matter whatsoever to decide how much punishment you should get. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it's an interesting kind of thing, especially in an autocratic government like we have today.
Bravo. 1 experience point granted.
You hear a "shut up, nerd" from the back of the crowd, and it's Whoppy.
While we've got you, Would Reggie like to award an experience point to one of your companions who was most helpful to you today?
Yeah, Reggie will give it to uh, to Viv's character, as he believes that character was the only other mature person there. He can't deny the power of distraction that Tice's character provided. Splitting up the keys and like organizing that sort of stuff and getting out like managing the chaos was something that he was struggling to figure out, and so he was happy to have someone to help with that.
Right on. And from the boasts that you heard, who would Shari and Mari like to give their experience points to?
Shari will give hers to Tice because he went in the river, and she thinks that's extremely exciting. And then Mari will give it to, I guess, to Viv as well, because she's never had someone come into the library and ask her for help. She felt very very accomplished with that. She's feeling more like a wizard.
Alrighty. Jackie. Let's start with Lyka. Would Lyka like to give an experience point to a member of the team?
I will give it to Troy for his composure facing down the weird guy.
Right on. And then for Bax and Trumpy, whose boasts were they most endeared by?
Bax is probably going to give it to Tice, because she's impressed by his level of agency, and he has very much like main character. He seems like the main character in in his story, you know. And Trumpy, probably Nest for like basically the telling of the story, honestly. For telling the story about Palladia.
All right. Next up, Tice. Who would Elros like to award an experience point to for helping out on today's adventure?
I guess let's see. I'll give one to Koffrik for yeah, basically like seems like braving down the darkness and scares, like embracing it.
That was Koffrik, you said?
Yes.
Alrighty. And then having heard the stories, who were Glup and Kyleel most impressed by?
Let's see. Glub would say Nest for helping with the chaos, and Kyleel would give one to let's see. To Reggie.
Just for the general style of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Troy. Which of Koffrik's team members was Koffrik most impressed by?
I'm making sure I didn't mess this up. Nest mentioned something about us being heroes or something, or we could be heroes.
Both Elros and I said so.
Yeah, so Koffrik was there for the Elros doing what Elros did. But when Nest was boasting, Koffrik heard Nest say heroes and then didn't hear anything else.
Well,
So was most
Koffrik
impressed
was
by it.
actually there on the adventure, so Koffrik does not have to go by the boast. But yes, that is true what Nest said. Yeah.
Yeah, there were other reasons, but that's the better sell. It was still yeah, it was impressed by a lot of the things that Nest did, but also the heroes bit.
All right, and then Chrysalisar and Mina. Which of the boasts were they most impressed by?
Chrysalisar on it's Lyka, right?
Yep.
Lyka for the description of the ally assist of how you helped with the keys.
Excellent, and Mina?
And then Mina for I was torn on this one a little bit. I'm still torn.
What is it that Mina is into?
I think that helps actually a little bit more, if I'm thinking about more aspects. Mina was impressed by Elros's story, because in two parts, because he what he went through, he basically wreaked havoc, which is good. And then the other part is everything he did had more going on. Like it caused more, like he kept causing ripple effects, or he kept causing, like, there's a lot of stuff to each thing he did.
Excellent. And Vivian, we're on to Nest. Which of Nest's compatriots were they most impressed by?
But the actual answer was on the adventure, but of the ones on the adventure, probably Lyka for making stealing the keys possible, essentially.
Excellent. And then Araxi and Wampy. Whose boasts were they most impressed by?
Raktu is definitely most impressed by Elros, and the chaos that was created. Wampy probably also Elros for the same reason. Though Wampy is doing this just because Wampy thinks that was cool and wants to do that themselves.
Alrighty, the experience points have been given out. Does anyone not know how many points they got and want me to read it out? Cool. And it's all in the spreadsheet if you need to double check it. Alrighty. As an additional closing thing, we forgot to do this last night. As the kids eat dinner and go to bed, everyone recovers 2 tacks. And there we go. Another successful adventure.
So I can recover the taxes to my composure.
Yeah, you can move taxes from your composure to your stamina, and also you can remove 2 tacks completely for resting. If you find that your
Is it a
characters are getting-
1-to-1 conversion from composure to stamina?
Yes.
And that's for everyone, right?
That's correct.
Also, we also need to do the carpenter and stuff.
Oh yeah. Let's not forget that. Good call. So, how many went to go see the carpenter today?
Apparently only Kyle, I think.
Yeah, yep, just Kylil. All right, Kylil, make your roll and see if the carpenter is any happier.
Let's get the empathy up.
Presumably, it's persuasion plus empathy or something. Yeah. Hey, there you go. All right, what is it that you did to please the carpenter?
I help him, and I'm like just admiring all his older toys and stuff, and like it reminds me sort of like when back from my home, though I don't remember much, sort of like that sort of feeling. It's an old thing, but like it just has a good feeling to it.
Right on. And then let's have the other characters talk a little bit about what they learned today. I know some of them didn't really learn anything; they just were doing it for the money, and that's okay. We can skip them. They did it for the money. But some of the characters learned some valuable lessons today. So what did the characters that went and did chores spend their experience points on, and what did they learn? Let's start with Vivian, since we ended with you. We'll just go rolling back across the spreadsheet the other direction. I believe Araxi was out with the fisherman. Did Araxi learn anything from the fishing family? And is Araxi the one whose personal hero is...
Yes.
So I'm sure that was a very special day for Araxi.
Yeah. Araxi basically spent most of the day unable to talk from being like, my hero's right here. Oh my god. Let's see. Araxi spent a lot of the day. They just make sure Araxi can spend this experience. Yeah. Araxi is going to have spent a lot of the day on the actively pulling in the cash, wanting to do basically everything up front. And I'm going to put experience into acrobatics and also leadership for Araxi.
Okay.
Now I'm going to save my other point for later.
Being on a boat, acrobatics helps you not fall off, and leadership is important, because everybody has to work as a team. So great lessons.
And there's pocket money for this, right?
Yes, absolutely. Wampy also earned pocket money, although mostly for the less glamorous task of cleaning up somebody's vomit.
Yeah. Wampy definitely pretended to dump it on Trompy.
Troy, did Mina learn anything at the mill today? with the miller? The miller is a scholar and an engineer who has used his engineering to create the mill, as well as various other devices around town.
Yeah, she was definitely interested in the engineering stuff.
That's the one to talk to. The miller can teach engineering as a skill. That's on their list. Engineering, investigation, labor, marksmanship, scholarship, and survival. The marksmanship is because as an engineer, the miller has crafted a crossbow and has a little makeshift firing range for it out back. But if it's engineering you're interested in, the whole mill was an engineering project that the miller created.
Who would have thought engineers becoming marksmen? Never happens. So so she spent the day just probably asking questions about the construction and just inspecting the place.
You definitely have enough experience to put your engineering up to level 2 if you wanted to. You could potentially level other things as well that the miller teaches. If the miller has a talent you're targeting, you might want to make sure you get the prerequisites for it taken care of. I have made sure that every single person in this town teaches the skills needed to meet the prerequisites for the talents that they teach. So you won't have to worry about like cross-training. There's one weird exception for, there's a talent that has another talent as its prerequisite instead of skills. And that's an artistry thing if someone's learning to do crafting. They'll need to study at both the inn and the smithy. But other than that, that's edge case scenario. You also don't have to spend your experience. It's not mandatory. This is just the opportunity to do it. Talents do cost 9 experience points, so you're probably going to have to save up for a little bit to get talents if that's what you're going for.
Yeah, but we need or like you said, we need the prereqs and such.
Yeah, it's a good idea to get those prerequisites, so you've at least got some extra dice while you save up for the talents. Do you need to look over it some more? I can go on to the next person.
She's learning. Sorry, I was just checking on something. She leveled up her engineering and her investigation.
Okay, solid choices. And then Chrysalisar was running messages for the sheriff and probably slipped some info to somebody at the beginning of that adventure. Both of them got their pocket money for that. Moving up to Tice, Glup was working at the general store, is that right?
Yeah.
Alrighty. What did Glup learn today?
Glup learned 1 in persuasion and 2 in crime.
Ah. Glup was being utilized for some shenanigans by the owner of the general store.
Yeah, especially since it can climb in walls and stuff.
It definitely keeps the staff on their toes.
Yeah. I'm using my tongue to grab things while I'm on the roof.
And we already did Kyleel's time with the carpenter. So let's move up to Jackie. Let's see. Did Bax learn anything new today? Probably not. I think Bax did all their training
Yeah.
the previous day. But they got some pocket money. And Trompy had Wompy pretend to pour a bucket of vomit on them, so that was fun. Fun day at the herbalist.
And also pocket money, I assume.
And also pocket money. And lastly, Shari went out with the fishermen as well. So we had 2 students on the fishing team. How was Shari's day out on an actual real boat?
She asked a whole bunch of questions to the navigator until the navigator kicked her out, and then she basically just parroted orders. So she's now really good at saying, like, batten down the hatches and belay that rope, soldier, and those sorts of things. And so she's trained in a little bit in exploration, but mostly in leadership.
Okay. Very good. And Mari was, well, we all saw what Mari did at the herbalist. Mari was very helpful to the party there. So they both earned their pocket money, and yeah, it was a good day. And everybody made it home safe with no panicking. The Cubs, by the way, have been hearing all of your stories of your adventures with glee. The older 2 seem to really want to get out there and have some adventures themselves. They are much younger than the rest of you, at least by like 3 years. And Bivin is way too young to do anything. But their excitement might become inspiring to them and a hazard to everyone else. So it's a thing to keep your eye on. And I think that closes it out. Did everyone remember to move their attacks into stamina and recover 2?
Yep.
Good. Alrighty then. We will proceed next week. Hopefully Kristen will be feeling better, and we'll be back to a full group of 6. And we'll take a look at some of those other adventure options now that we can cross that one off the list.